program today. We have Susan Stephen, the mayor of Eureka, too. But that's not why you're here. She's here as the program director for AEDC. She's been working in economic development for 12 years, trying to address the issues important to our business community. She has 2 kids, both recent college grads. This year. Today she's going to talk about a program, more experiment, AEDC has been working on to address local workforce issues, Workforce Weekend.
So I'm Susan. I know a lot of you, which is always a nice thing to see people you know this early in the morning. This is not normally my time to be functional, so we'll see how I can pull this together. I will say, though, that when I was in bed this morning dreading coming, I did go on my Workforce Weekend page and got a few statistics and things to not have to get out of bed. So let me tell you a little bit about this program. For years, we have heard we have 2 narratives in Humboldt County, basically, and we hear them over and over again. One is that there are no jobs, there is no opportunity. And the other from industry leaders is there's nobody to do the jobs that we have. We have so many jobs. So for years, I've been looking at how do we close that gap between those 2 narratives, because obviously there's something that's been missed. So we were looking at research that was done by the job market, as well as HSU. HSU's business department did some research with their students about what they were expecting from work, how prepared they felt for work, if they wanted to stay local, what they wanted to do. So they had a lot of those questions, and then the job market was asking employers, what are you looking for in an employee, what do you need? And I tried to pull things that we could work with. There are a few things that came up over and over again. One of them from employers was, in terms of what they were looking for, technical skills was at the bottom of the list. Over and over we heard, if we could just get the right person, we could train them to do the job. That's what we need. But when we ask for applications, when we're looking for employees, we ask what are your skills, what is your education, and we eliminate anybody who does not meet those skills enough. So you're missing out on an opportunity to talk to a lot of people. So we noticed that. We noticed that there were a lot of HSU students who did not expect to stay in Humboldt, but said if they could find a job, they would stay in Humboldt. So we're pulling these little pieces together, and they came up with this experiment called Workforce Weekend. Oh, there are a couple other things. We're a rural community. This is a very rural kind of experiment. We have a lot of jobs, but we don't have a lot of any one kind of job. So if you're interested in a specific career path, you're not going to be able to look at the one ads and find 20 marketing jobs available or 20 accounting jobs. But you can find one here or there. Accounting jobs, yes, you can find 20 anytime. That was a bad example.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there are. So what we want to do is we want people to understand that even if that job's not available the month that you're looking for work, it could be available at another time. So we came up with this idea that's part, call it like part dating site, part job fair. And it's a web-based platform where we have asked businesses to participate, and they put in their directory entry, and Ian was my very first directory entry, I'd like to announce, which was a very long time ago. You probably forgot all about the program. And so what they do is they say, this is the company, this is our company, this is our work culture, this is what it's like to work here, why you would want to work here, and here are all the kinds of jobs. So advanced security, you might think, I don't want to sell security systems. But they have management roles and labor, administrative and finance, and so when you look at the job opportunities, you start to see that it's not maybe as narrowly focused as you thought. And I actually talked to somebody the other day who was applying, and she said there are several companies that she's applying to that she never even considered looking at before. So that's the point. That's what we wanted people to do, is to start thinking about places they would never apply for. Then the other thing we have is the application. And the application was, we worked on it with several leaders in workforce development and in the industry. So we had somebody from Sequoia Personnel on our team, and somebody from Express Personnel, as well as several business owners. We said, what is it that you want to know? what really will help you understand what a potential applicant has to offer you, but don't ask them anything about their skills. So we start with, how do you define professionalism? Because in the HSU workshop, or the HSU research, they asked students, how professional do you feel? And they said they were very high. And we asked employers, how professional do you think HSU students are that are coming to you? And they did not rate quite so well. And really, how do you define professionalism? There's no one answer. So perhaps by the standards of what the students were thinking, they're very professional, and an employer's thinking something totally different. So we just start off, like, how do you define this? So we're at least working with the same language. And then we ask a bunch of other questions, like, how do you rank the kinds of work you like to do? Would you rather be at a computer, working with customers, in meetings? How do you prefer to communicate? Those kinds of things. I'm very excited, and it's a total experiment. We have no idea what's going to happen. So I've been, for a year, building the website. We opened it up for applications in November, I think, and Workforce Weekend is going to be next weekend. So we've had months for people to go online, and we've been promoting it and going out and talking about it. But what we all know is nobody does anything until the last minute. In fact, of the 50 total applications we got, 31 have come in the last 3 days. Which means all of the glitches in the system, we didn't hear about them until the last 3 days. So this is really a total pilot year. We also have figured out that we have some glitches in the system, because we had 186 accounts opened and only 50 applicants finished. So next year, we were hoping whatever those glitches are that keep people from finishing their applications, we can deal with. What else do I want to say about it?
When is the weekend?
It's March 1st and 2nd. And here's the thing that's really complicated about the weekend is there's really not a there. We have simply asked employers who get their, so what will happen, somebody will submit their application. They only have to fill it out once. It takes between, I'd say 40 minutes to 2 hours if you really think about it. It's almost like an interview type questions that you're going to be answering. They send it to all the businesses they're interested in with a little message introducing themselves. And for March 1st and 2nd, we've asked employers to set up interviews with the participants. So there's not a job fair per se where people have to show up someplace. They'll just go to your office and do an interview. The reason we picked one weekend, there are a couple of reasons we picked one weekend. One is, eventually if this ever gets big, it's an opportunity for us to reach out to maybe HSU students or previous, kids who grew up here and have moved away and don't know how to get back. So they can come up and interview with 4 or 5 companies, maybe in one weekend. So that's one reason. And the other reason is because we are just like all of the applicants, and we're not going to do anything until we have to. So if we say, we'll send you these applications and get to it whenever you can, we'll never get to it. So by having a weekend date, that really kind of puts us all on notice that on this day, I'm really going to focus on developing my HR and personnel, because we get a lot of businesses who say, I really want to do this, but it's hard. I mean, if you run a small business, there's so much going on, but that's the ideal, and we really don't have enough time to do all of it.
Did you promote it to the students at the volunteer and job fair?
We were at the volunteer and job fair. We've been working with the HSU Career Center. Just in the last month, we got some money from the California Community Colleges and did a big media push. What I'm hoping next year is that now that we have our platform set up, we do need to work on the application, so we'll need to do some more technical updates for next year. But we're going to apply for a Headwaters grant that will be solely about marketing. So last year was all about figuring out what the heck this is, and next year will be all about marketing. I also have an HSU student who's working with me, so we asked two things. We have an application that goes to the employers, but we also have a demographic application that asks a lot of information so we can see who's kind of using the program. And So I have an HSU student who'll be compiling that information, as well as calling and following up with businesses to find out if this was at all useful for them, following up with some of the applicants to find out where their frustrations were, the application, that kind of thing. So we'll be doing a lot of research over the next month to figure this out. I've been invited by the California Association of Local Economic Development to talk about this in Anaheim at the end of next month. So I'm hoping I have some good stories to tell them. But it's really a fun opportunity to just get out of our own way and meet. It's a formalized networking.
And so do the employers need to have positions available, or is this more an informational interview?
Excellent question. No, we don't. You don't have to have positions available. So this is an opportunity to interview with somebody, because a lot of times, there's something coming up in 3 months or 6 months, and so you could be like, don't quit your job at Starbucks and move down to Southern California. I've got a great one. We'll just keep in touch for the next few months. There are also opportunities where you go, oh my God, you have all kinds of skills that I need. I don't have that job yet. I can create it.
I'm going to say, maybe an unintended consequence. Yesterday I interviewed a candidate who's a skilled candidate, probably in her 50s, relocated here to be closer to her grandkids, and is looking for a job. She's had great careers, but hasn't had to interview a whole bunch. She came in and said she just completed the application. She goes, boy, what a doozy. She goes, it was really long, but by the time I was done, I feel I'm so well prepared for any interview question that's going to come my way. So it's really doing a good job to help folks out there who are looking for, just that one thing alone, going through it. She goes, it took me an hour and a half, but I am really prepared now, thinking about myself in ways I wasn't before. So good job.
I'm really, it's interesting. I kind of look at it and get a little worried about it, but the HR folks that have read the application go, I love this. This is great. So I'm really excited about that.
The one application we got so far was new. We brought him in, and it was very clear that their written persona was much more comfortable speaking to those very self-introspective questions that are really important to find the right person. But it was also clear that having done that on paper before helped them immensely in the interview, because they, like you said, they already knew what to talk about. But the questions are exactly what we need to vet out a personality and what they're after, so that we don't bring somebody in that goes, oh no, you guys aren't for me. They already know, because you put a company profile up too that's about us. So before they even decide to apply to you, they already know what you're about. And that gets you so much closer to what you're looking for, even if, like you said, you don't have a position yet. We've hired people because we found the right person and created a position for them, because we knew we needed that person on our team. So I think it's going to be very, very useful to our community.
I'm so excited. I mean, it's still, it's a big experiment, but
And all the questions are legal?
all questions, all the questions on the application, yes, because we did have,
Okay.
all the questions on the demographic information are not legal, but we
Right.
don't share any of them with them.
Okay, so the employer isn't going to know somebody's age or?
No.
Okay.
However, I was kind of randomly going through this morning, and what I found was 50s was really kind of the higher age that I saw, more than the 20s. So I'd say 50s and 20s were the two ages we saw. So I got the 5 minutes a minute ago, so.
You've got time.
Okay.
You got time.
You may have other questions. I really like this bouncing off of each other, just like I said.
What's the website again?
It's workforceweekend.com.
I think one of the definitions of professionalism is showing up on time. And I was in HR for a long time, and it was amazing to me how many 20-somethings I had to explain to them why they needed to come to work on time. It was just something that never occurred to me.
You want to come to a staff meeting?
It never occurs to me to be late, and so sitting down, if you're not there on time, then the person who was supposed to leave when their shift ended and yours started again, it's just crazy.
It's the soft skills, really, we spend a lot of time with soft skill questions, really getting people thinking about that as well.
I was freaking out because I needed to fire somebody, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have time. And then I get this email like 4 days ago, and it was like 2 in the morning, I filled it out, and then I have 2 applicants.
I was going to say,
And
I
I was
noticed
like,
this morning, I was looking through and I saw you got them, and you were like the last person to put a business directory up.
It's weird, they sound super awesome, I'm like, oh no, I want to hire them both, but. Anyway.
Well, I'm sorry to be providing you guys with too many good So if you didn't participate this year, you can participate next year. Tomas, we asked every applicant if they would be willing to have us share their applications with a third party, somebody like you or Express, and most of them said yes, so you'll be getting all kinds of information. Well, thank you so much for having me.
We made a donation to the Wheelchair Foundation, so thank you for being a speaker. And look, I actually did it in frame. I never do that. So thank you for being successful for us.
Thank you very much.